Welcome to the Undrafted Armchair Quarterbacks. We're Jim and Joe, lifelong friends, lifelong fans, bringing you fan-driven sports talk the way real fans do. No overpaid experts, no scripted analysis, just honest takes on the game's players and the big stories shaping sports right now.
We want you to be a part of it too. Drop your comments, questions, and takes. We'll read them all, bring them into future shows like today. Please hit like, subscribe, and join our conversation every week for free on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you listen. And we appreciate you folks joining us. Hey, Joe, how you doing, man?
Good now. It's been a while. It's been a long week. We're having to push our show to Saturday, working on the weekend. Thank goodness there's no tax on tips or overtime anymore, because we're definitely working overtime. That's my fault, people. Had to leave town for a while, but back and happy to be back, and probably more happy to be talking what we love to talk about, and that is sports. And there's a lot going on.
Yeah, you better believe it. And I was just thinking you were out in Phoenix, right?
I was in Phoenix for a few days. Yes. Beautiful, by the way, 87 degrees. I'm from the southeast. I'm from Miami. As people might know, I love the humidity. I love everything about it. However, whenever I go out west to the southwest, I lived in Dallas 4 years, and of course, being in Phoenix, that's got to be my second favorite climate, man. It's dry in the shade. It's 87, but it feels great. I don't know, like it out there. Really nice.
You just have to drink a lot of water, not beer. You just have to drink a lot of water. You got to stay hydrated out there. I've been out to Phoenix one time. That's beautiful out there. I love it.
Yeah, I did too.
I was hoping you would tell me that you had a chance to play a round of golf out there.
I didn't.
No.
And by the way, I have played golf in the Scottsdale, Phoenix area many times. I lived in California for 4 years and for different other reasons.
Yeah.
But I also thought about sticking around for this weekend's NASCAR race because history's already been made. Will history continue to be made? I don't know. You brought up golf. Let's get started. I had a little concern about, golf. Is the PGA, is it moving in the right direction? Is it getting more people? Is it gaining spectators? I don't know. And here's why. Talked to a few people, 3 or 4 golfers that I know. I golf once a week. I like golf. 3 out of 4 of them couldn't even really tell me what tournament's going on this weekend. And I remember the Bay Hill used to be, kind of, must-watch TV kind of thing. Then as importantly, it crossed my mind that, a lot of people, they might know Bay Hill's going on, but other than really, really hardcore, PGA fans, however you define that, they really couldn't tell you, even the leaderboard right now. And that's after, Thursday, Friday cut. So I don't know, man. It's I just got this feeling like PGA's losing a little, I don't know about popularity, but it's almost like everyone's waiting to the majors. You know what I mean? I can't wait for the, Masters. And then I can't wait for the PGA or the U.S. Open. But the normal tournaments that used to be pretty big, I don't know. Are they fading?
A really good point, Joe. I got something, as you were saying that, I started to think maybe the Bay Hill, which when I lived in Orlando, after I moved from Miami to Orlando, you and I played golf in Orlando, 100 million times?
Yeah.
When Arnold Palmer passed away, I've seen a change in Bay Hill. Maybe it's because the king is gone. Arnold Palmer passed away. It's been a while, but maybe because they don't have him there, they don't have that. They can't bring him on and have him talk about his tournament. But yeah, I'm not hearing or seeing a lot of news about Bay Hill, and I'm just a little bit north of Tampa. It'd take me an hour and 15 minutes to get to Bay Hill if I wanted to go.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm sure, I don't know, but I'm sure if we looked at, the gate, how many people are attending, it's probably bigger than ever. TPC's next weekend. We know that's always a popular tournament. And, the leaderboard isn't horrible. Morikawa, Aberg, Theegala, Fowler, Schauffele. You've got good name recognition on the leaderboard. I don't know. Just maybe it's me. You know what? Maybe I'm so busy lately. I'm not watching, Pebble Beach like I used to, and I'm not watching, these tournaments. But we'll see. Hey, we'll keep an eye on it. That's for sure. And I do love golf, so I do have one eye on it at least. I mentioned staying in Phoenix for the race. Tee us off with what's going on in NASCAR, because I mean, if you follow NASCAR at all, you kind of know the story.
Tyler Reddick, 3 straight season opening wins. And I looked up a little something here, which I'm going to read. He's won Daytona, Atlanta, and I think it was in Austin, in Texas.
The Texas Grand Prix. Yep. They call it Dakota, COTA.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. It's quite historic. This weekend he'll be in Phoenix, as you mentioned, going for his 4th straight win. That's pretty incredible. So what I found is, okay, everybody knows Michael Jordan's a co-owner. I did not know who the other co-owner is, and it's Denny Hamlin. They took on NASCAR, and they got a settlement, which was considered a big legal victory. And what they were pushing is a franchise-style model to ensure the business would remain as a team for the long term. What I thought about right after reading that is, okay, the team has been unbeatable ever since this settlement. If they're in it for the long term, if you're not getting on the Tyler Reddick bandwagon, you may be in for a long year.
Yeah, no kidding.
They haven't lost since that settlement in December.
Yeah. Well, and there's kind of a couple different things to unpack there too, because the settlement or the lawsuit said, and by the way, the France family, I don't know if people, that name rings a bell. Yeah, the France family has owned NASCAR, controlled it. I shouldn't say own it. They control. So they're like the NCAA of NASCAR. And they determine the venues. They can prevent teams from racing in certain venues. They can prevent teams from competing in other series. Don't forget, what we're watching is the Cup Series, Daytona 500. There's like 5 other races happening in Daytona. There's 4 other races happening in Phoenix. The Cup Series is what we're watching, like the Golf FedEx Cup. But there's like in golf, like the Nike Tour, the Buy.com, they are not allowed to race in those and blah, blah, blah. So the Hamlin Jordan team, kind of like, antitrust. It was an antitrust lawsuit saying, hey, no. From now on, we have to get a say in this. We get to participate in these decisions and all of that. Most reports suggest the settlement included, money, and most importantly, probably teams secure a share of their international and media rights. And I think it was just really a pushback to the NCAA of NASCAR saying, hey, you don't run this thing. We do too. So now they have a little bit more power, almost like collective bargaining, if you will. So anyways, that was an important thing probably for NASCAR. As far as Tyler Reddick, here's what struck me as unbelievable. Okay. First of all, becoming the 6th driver to go 2 for 2, now 3 for 3, the only driver. Don't forget Daytona. Okay. Then you have Atlanta. Atlanta Motor Speedway is a different track. But then you go to a Grand Prix style. Ever watch NASCAR cars going around Grand Prix tracks? That has nothing to do with hauling butt around a circle, doing, 300 miles an hour. This is a completely different type of race, and he won that one. So, what does that tell you?
That's what I mean by you better get on the bandwagon or, and how long is the France family, Bill France they have controlled it since they had an oval on the beach in Daytona.
I know. Right. I know.
It's time for a change.
Well, it's time for owners and teams and drivers to be, part of the direction and what decisions are made. I think it's great. A couple things on Reddick before we move on. Listen, Matt Kenseth, 2009, the last guy to start 2 for 2. Richard Petty, 1967. Listen to this. Richard Petty, the king, right? He won 27 races in one season, including 10 in a row, but did not win the first 3 that year. And of course, Kyle Busch in 2019, 11 consecutive top 10 finishes, but only 3 wins. This is, however you slice it up, what Tyler Reddick is doing is, legendary. I'm looking at the rankings right now. It's early through 3 races, the FedEx Cup standings. He's got 186 points, 3 wins, 3 top 5s. The next person is Bubba Wallace, 0 wins, 0 top 5s. Chase Elliott has 1 top 5. I mean, if you look at, if this was like basketball or pick a sport, it'd be a blowout already. You know what I mean? It's crazy, man. I do want to bring up one thing really quickly. Here's the bad thing about Tyler Reddick. The bad thing is there's another guy, and he is in the IndyCar series. His name is Alex Palou. If I'm saying that right, Alex Palou. Alex Palou is probably doing something maybe, as good, if not maybe better, for different reasons. 3 championships, 23, 24, 25. This is Alex's. In 99 starts, he's won 20. In 99 starts, he's finished in the top 5 58 times, top 10 74. I mean, this guy, he just won last weekend. I mean, this guy, every time they start, he's almost like guaranteed top 10, almost, half the time top 5. It's unbelievable. He's dominant. Anybody in that kind of a sport who wins 23% of your races. So, I mean, that's another name. So there's a lot going on in racing right now. It's crazy, man.
And what a great point there. We've already mentioned one king, Arnold Palmer. You just mentioned another king, Richard Petty. And now I'm beginning to think, you know what? Alex Palou, right? That's his name.
That's right.
That race was just here last weekend in St. Pete.
Right. That's right.
And I've been to that. That's a pretty awesome venue for anybody that hasn't been to in Florida, especially.
I have been there. Yeah, it's great. It's great if you ever get a chance to go down there. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So there's another king, and we be looking at Tyler Reddick becoming the king of today's racing. We'll see what happens. There's gonna be a lot of eyes out on Phoenix that race tomorrow.
Oh,
I'm looking forward to it.
You are 100% right. It's going to be really, hey, listen, people, you don't have to talk a lot of people into watching NASCAR, but if you're kind of a casual fan, you whether you watch the race or not, I don't know, but you will definitely be keeping your eye on the results. Pretty crazy, man. But yeah, it's unbelievable. Listen, still a lot going. Speaking of racing, racing to the WBC title is also happening. Before we get to that, though, which might be the star of the sporting world as far as what's going on. There's still some good things going on in college football. Of course, a sad day the other day in college football.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Lou Holtz. Iconic.
Yeah.
Another coach that I've been fortunate enough to see a couple games. I know you have.
I've seen him a couple of times.
Yep. And also I've seen him speak at Disney one time. And I'll tell you what, he talk about a great motivational speaker. And I think what sticks in my mind, this is from Trevor from Grand Rapids, Michigan, subscriber, longtime buddy. Hope you're doing all right, Trevor.
Thank you.
He had this interesting little tidbit. It's nothing out of this world. It's just a stranger than fiction. Lou Holtz coached Notre Dame to a national championship. Pretty much everyone knows that was 1988. Well, that was the 100th anniversary of Knute Rockne's birth year. Lou Holtz went up to heaven and, on the same day that Knute Rockne was born, March 4th.
Oh,
thought that's kind of neat.
That's very neat.
But he was
an iconic college football icon, on the field, off the field. I was at the Convicts versus Catholics Miami Notre Dame game, number 1 against number 2. Cleveland Gary did not fumble the ball, so
wait a minute.
Instant replay would have given us that win, but that's okay.
Wait a minute, he did fumble.
Yeah, okay. Um, okay, but and by the way, in leaving the stadium, my hat got stolen. I got punched in the back by two Phantom fans and spit on twice. So I was having a hard time really determining who the convicts and who the Catholics were, but that's okay. Hey, that's why that rivalry is so good. Lou Holtz, you cannot argue with his presence and his thumbprint that he's left all over college football. I do wonder one thing. I wonder if Lou Holtz really, and I don't want to take anything away from what great things he did, but he's in a really very small bad category too. There's only two NFL coaches in the history of the NFL who have quit during the season. Both of them called their owners from the airport. Both of them left mid-season and went from the NFL to college football. Ironically, they both went to Arkansas years apart. And Lou Holtz has the the unfortunate connection to Bobby Petrino as being one of those two coaches. Lou Holtz left South Carolina kind of in bad shape, left Arkansas in bad shape. So I think luckily he had time to kind of clean all that up. And like I said, I've had the privilege of hearing him speak a couple of times. Great Christian man, great motivator of young men. So that wasn't meant to take anything away. It's kind of it's one of those weird things in sports. Only two people ever left the NFL, one from the Jets, one from the Falcons, to go back to college. They both went to Arkansas. I mean, you can't make it up. But anyway, R.I.P. Lou. The other things going in college football, you might have heard about a meeting in the White House with Trump. What do you got on that?
All I have seen, it's not a lot, and I'm praying it's not a lot of hullabaloo, much ado about nothing type of thing. But the thing that I like the most is that on regular Fox News, they want to save college sports before it loses its soul to the highest bidder. That really stuck me yesterday morning, just on the regular local news. That's what they chose to put on the air. And all I can hope for, I mean, there were a lot of people there. Was it like 70 or 80? And Charlie Ward, Nick Saban, lots of them were there. Trying to remember some. Randy Levine, the president of the New York Yankees. But at the end, the last thing I read, this is why I'm worried it's much ado about nothing. There was no vote. And there's such a quagmire going on right now. There's rumors now that college sports, the players are going to unionize. And then last night I did see it on Fox News. I was watching again last night. They are saying that it's not NASCAR. It's not the NCAA's fault that all this is happening, because they haven't been given the power to reign over and start instilling all the rules. Because every time right now that they try to do something, guess what happens? They get sued.
Well, no, that's not what happens. They lose in court. You know why? Because they suck. The NCAA has had plenty of opportunity to rein this crap in. They don't know what they're doing. They don't have good leadership, and shame on them. Shame on the other side of that fence. Shame on the money. Shame on all of that. Listen, nobody wants college athletes to be employees because they got to give them benefits. Not football. Everyone gets benefits. They can't afford it, so they're stuck. Yesterday's meeting might be a step in the right direction. Everyone's disgusted by the money. The NFL's disgusted by the money. You can make more money in college now than the NFL. That's not even a joke. That's a fact. And like you say, the NCAA, man, they've lost control. Now, Trump would have to do an executive order. I don't know if that's a good idea, because this is kind of fast tracked to get all that right. That's pretty tough. Congress would have to pass it, laws, if you want this to stick around for a while. There's a long way to go, my friend, I think, before this is cleaned up.
Yeah. I'm just hoping. Like I said, I don't know exactly what really came out of that meeting yesterday yet. The news really hasn't come out too much about it.
Yeah.
But
Well, you know what came out of it? Talking,
At least
acknowledging
they're
there's a
getting
problem.
there.
Yeah, acknowledging there's a problem. First step into AA. Not that I've ever been yet, but first step is to admit you have a problem,
Yeah.
and that's another problem with the NCAA. Hey, we're perfect. It's like it's a step in the right direction because communication is at least the starting point to try to get something done because it's out of control. There are some bright spots. There are some people, and I don't want to pick out one person because there's a lot of great college athletes. But it was really nice last night,
Yeah.
or I think it was Thursday night. It was really nice to see one of the top recruits in the country, 5-star Nick Lanier, coveted wide receiver. Everyone wants him. Alabama, Ohio State, Miami, everyone. It's really nice to see him at a recruiting trip in Miami, standing up as each recruit, official visit, 20 recruits or so, introduce themselves on microphone. Signing day is December 2026, 9 months from now. It was really nice to see Nick Lanier get up, say thank you for the invitation. Thank you, Coach Cristobal, for letting me be here. And by the way, I am committing to the University of Miami for my 2027 recruitment.
Wait a minute.
No hats, no
What?
fanfare, no, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure he's getting paid, but it was just kind of nice because, man, Nick Saban said it best. It's really hard to go in these living rooms now and have a 17-year-old literally telling you how it's going to be. And that's what they do because they can. And they've been given that power financially.
Bingo.
And other. So it's nice to see there are some kids, I don't want to say been raised right and all that, but, hey, that comes from somewhere. But it was nice. So to be determined, man, they've got to fix this problem right now in football primarily. But the rest of the sports are doing great. College basketball, we're going to have a lot more talk about college basketball coming up because we're getting into the good point.
And I got one more thing to add to your point there about it's nice to see Nick Lanier like that. These are young men.
Big time.
And Florida State out-dueled Miami to get Hakeem Williams, 5-star receiver. Okay? He did the hat thing, got his high school, the big show, and Peter Warwick was even there. So I'm sure Peter Warwick had a little check for him. I get it. We outbid for his service.
For the collective. Yeah, I get it.
He was non-factor after 2 years at Florida State. Really sad. Yep. People can argue, I'll blame that on your coaching staff. Well, now, just this past week, he transfers and goes to Dion Land to play for the Buffaloes. And practice last week, or it might have been a workout or something, but it shows him they have their helmets on, shells, and he gets in a big fight with a cornerback. And I mean, they literally pulls his helmet off. The guy still punches him, Hakeem, right in the face, even with his helmet on it. So he rips off the cornerback's helmet. And I'm just like, what happened to him? That boy Keem. That's what he liked to be called. That boy Keem.
Self-proclaimed, tagline, his name.
So we're feeding their egos. We're feeding their, I even heard someone else say, it's getting out of hand that here are these football players driving around college campuses in their Lamborghinis.
It's been going on a long time. However, now it's going on more, and now other people can do it. Not just the Georgias and Ohio States and the Clemsons of the world. Going to Clemson's football practice, 8 years ago and seeing the parking lot, it was pretty clear what was going on. But anyways, listen, one of our favorite sports is baseball, and we've got the World Baseball Classic going on. It's going on. It's official. It started. What's your takes so far? What have you seen?
In the WBC, which is, of course, at the forefront right now, you got to love last night's game with the USA. They managed 10 hits against Brazil's pitching staff, right? How'd they get 15 runs, Joe?
Oh, boy, that sounds like they had to have a lot of base runners.
Yeah, they sure did. Wait till you hear this. This is criminal. Total of 19 free passes for the USA baseball team, thanks to Brazil's pitching staff. 17 walks. If you were watching, that's one of those games where you're like, oh my God, what is going on? 17 walks
That's
in a
insane.
9-inning game, plus 2 hit batters.
Wow.
So like I said, that's 19 free passes. And I'm waiting today, later on, I think there's rumor that Brazil's pitching coach has been exiled. They haven't named the country yet, but not looking good for that pitching coach for Brazil.
So what we're saying is they only had 10 hits with using the bat, but they had 27 hits, or 4 hit by pitch. So they had 14 hits. Listen, that's a lot of base runners for free. That's not gonna work.
I will say, to give credit to the USA team, Aaron Judge starts off the ball game, cranks one out, 2 runs
Yeah,
out.
I know, that was cool.
That was cool. And I got to give a shout out to, I believe he's with the Milwaukee Brewers, but my player of the game last night was Bryce Terang.
Yeah, saw that.
3 for 6, 4 ribbies. I need a ball player right there.
Yeah.
So go USA. 15-5 win over Brazil. But I'm wondering if you feel the same. Is this going to be another year where we see Team USA make it to the final and they're going to have to face Team Japan?
I don't know. I will say this. We could have had Mike Trout, but because, can't get his insurance right, wasn't allowed to play. Team Puerto Rico has 4 players that are in the major leagues that can't play because of insurance problems. So anyways, that's just kind of a little interesting tidbit. Hey, listen, I like USA right now. Team Japan looks strong. There's a lot of things to like. That's for sure. I will say this: there's been a little bit of surprises. Mexico beating Great Britain. Check this out. I forget. It's not like the Olympics where you got to play for your country. If you have any connection whatsoever, grandparent lived there once, visited there, have a passport that I can actually get from there. Any connection you can play. So Great Britain has 5 American players on it, which is interesting. But Cuba beating Panama. I'll tell you what, man, the Caribbean teams, they're tough every year.
Yeah. And then there are a couple of highlights I'd like to suggest to our listeners and viewers. Watch the Manny Machado 2 plays from the hot corner at third base last night. 2 plays, not just one. It looked like a replay, and I had to watch it again this morning, and it did stayed on there. Thanks, Top Cat, for sending that to me. This is not a replay, but he went off the foul line, got the ball, and basically threw the ball over the diamond in a bloop type fashion, just in time to get both runners. It was bang bang on the hot corner. But you talk about a stud, Manny Machado, yeah. And then you got Soto, all the Caribbean teams. You're right, you can't count them out.
No question about it. I mean, year in, year out. I like the WBC. I wish it was more consistent every year, like every 2 years, every 3 years. Major League Baseball has a lot to do with that and scheduling conflicts and all that. Obviously, there was a 6-year gap during COVID. But, it'd be kind of nice. I will say this. So too early. I'm not putting the cart before the horse kind of thing. But if the U.S., who's only won once, if the U.S. loses or does not win and Japan wins again, too early for this conclusion, but is Japan the world's baseball power?
Very possible. They won it last time.
I mean, just because, we own, and I say own, but the major leagues, the MLB is, U.S. based. I don't know, man, because I realize everyone can't play, but we've got a powerhouse lineup.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope the USA wins, obviously. But yeah, you just made me think about it. Canada is got to feel the same way, losing Olympic hockey golds in women's and men's. That we might feel that way if Japan beats us again in the WBC. That, hey, this is our sport, you know. I don't want that feeling, but it's very true. But then you brought up a point earlier, which is making me think about it right now, is are the best players from each country really playing on those teams? No, they're not. So because of insurance, give me a break. And I wanted to mention that before we wrap it up today, we've got a lot more to talk about as far as the ABS, the automated ball strike stuff for our next show. Got a ton of stuff to talk about. But I did see a hilarious video. Ronald Acuna was in a WBC game, and I'm not sure which, it might have been the Astros, but he tapped his helmet because the pitch was a little bit outside.
Yeah.
And the umpire had to look at him and go, there's no ABS in the World Baseball Classic.
I know.
Okay, Ronald, wake up, buddy.
Yeah. Well, you know, you can't really blame him sometimes. I mean, you know, hey, that's what you're used to it every time. It's kind of interesting. We didn't even get to, you know, this is the world of sports. It's not even like, you know, this is kind of a quiet time of the year. No, it's not. I mean, you got Max Crosby moving. You've got you know, baseball steroids, strike 2. There's a great article in The Athletic if you want to read about it, how guaranteed contracts are hurting that whole situation, because now you punish a player. Sure, they miss a year, they lose 15 mil, but they're going to get 20 mil next year, you know, and you can't do anything about it. It's guaranteed as long as they're on the field. So,
and we got to
talk about, man.
And we got to talk about players that are starting to not want to play in states that have state income tax.
Sure.
Which is also affecting college sports. So our next show, we're going to dig into that.
We are. And we've got, you know, college basketball really heating up. So we got to.
Yeah, man. Watch out for
the
the
dedicated
games.
show for that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Finally.
Gators.
Hey, getting a little recognition. In poor North Carolina, Caleb Williams out.
Yeah.
Tore his thumb on a jam in practice right after almost coming back from a broken wrist. So crazy, man. But hey, we'll save all that for the next time. So that's it for this episode of the Undrafted Armchair Quarterbacks with Jim and Joe. Thanks for checking us out and hanging with us for some real fan-driven sports talk.
Please don't forget, everyone, we very much appreciate you. Keep being a part of our show. We love the comments. Drop them below. We'll mention them. Join our conversation every week right here on YouTube, Spotify, and we're also on TikTok and Instagram for our shorties. It's good to see you, Joe. You have a great day.
Pleasure. Enjoy the weekend, man. We'll be checking out the Bay Hill. Take care, man. See ya.